Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to week 9 of the podcast. Got a great show for you today. Dustin and Chuck came on. We talked to Chuck a little bit about what he thought about his chances of repeating this year. And then we played a little game. Before I get into the matchups, I wanted to mention two little maintenance type things. One, Swain and Malinsky. You guys don't have enough money left to make any kind of Sunday pickups. So just keep that in mind. If you did pick up a guy on Sunday and started him and I didn't notice, that guy would just come out of your lineup, so you would lose those points. It probably doesn't really matter. I think there's only been one Sunday pickup all season anyway. One other thing I wanted to mention. Every year it seems during the season we talk about a couple of things we want to vote on, and then come June I send out an email and nobody says anything. So I set a Google Calendar notification or whatever for June 1st. That's the day. It's a Monday, so that's the day I'll send out the info about setting up the draft date and shit. And so if you guys had anything you didn't want to forget to vote on, maybe go ahead and do that. So let's jump right into the matchups. I took on Rob this week and lost badly, 105 to 145. I'm sitting still in 6th place. Rob moves into 2nd. He's won 3 in a row. Even though I'm in 6th, obviously I do not have the wild card. And I'm about 2 games behind Chuck, figuring in total points. We do have a head-to-head matchup coming up in 2 weeks. It's going to be a must-win for me. I guess for bright spots, Melvin Gordon seemed to have a first pretty good game. Got me 26 points. And Hunter Henry had another good game too. I really need the Chargers to get going if I'm going to have a chance to make the playoffs. Got Devontae Adams back. He got 11 targets, but only 7 catches for 40 yards. I think some of the podcast jinx was kind of working in there. Rico and I talked last week about how the Packers seem to have it rolling right now, and maybe they were the team to beat. And of course, they score 6 points against the Chargers the following week. I started Mitch Trubisky over Brissett. Thought it was a bold move, but it was a good matchup. Brissett gets hurt, and Trubisky still didn't outscore him until the 4th quarter. What a scrub. I doubt he's going to be starting much longer. And DJ Chark and Danny Amendola both had good matchups. Did absolutely nothing. Got me 12 total points. For Rob, his whole entire bench was on bye. He had Hooper, Gurley, Michael Thomas, Goff, and Devontae Freeman all on bye. Didn't matter. Crushed me anyway. Stafford stayed hot. Got him 32 points. Having an MVP type season. Definitely a fantasy MVP season. Phillip Lindsay, we saw run all over the Browns. Got 10 yards of carry and a touchdown. Damian Williams, he was doing his thing. Getting about 1.5 yards a carry. And then, of course, breaks a 91-yard touchdown run. And then Jalen Samuels gets 8 carries for 10 yards, but grabs 13 balls for 73 because the Steelers don't trust to throw the ball don't trust Mason Rudolph to throw the ball down the field. Ugh. It was a rough one for me. I was in a bad mood. I didn't want to. I was despondent, and I don't have any weed here, so I went and got ice cream in the middle of the matchup because I was so bummed. I didn't know what to do without any drugs, and I couldn't keep drinking because, I was just getting pissed off. Moving on to our next matchup, Kish takes on Chuck. Chuck wins 152 to 94. Kish's team really in a free fall. That'll probably end for him because he gets me this week. Chuck hangs on to 5th place, and he's got it pretty firmly held right now with only a few weeks to go. Kish is in 11th, shaping up to be in the Bestie Bowl versus Dustin. For Kish, Deshaun Watson has an okay game, gets him 19 points, which is fine for most quarterbacks, but not the way Watson's been playing. DJ Moore probably had his best game of the year, got him 19 points. That was about it, though. Diggs gets 1 catch for 4 yards. I think there's some bad coaching going on there in Minnesota. Sam Darnold, still not good. Robbie Anderson, still not good. I don't know. I've been a believer. I'm starting to lose some of that belief. Tevin Coleman, looked like Arizona sold out to stop the run and, made Jimmy G beat them, which he obviously did. Most of you guys saw that game. Peyton Barber got 1 point. Looks like he's behind Ronald Jones now, though we've seen that before. For Chuck, Tyreek Hill has a big game. Doesn't seem to be missing Mahomes that much. Gets 6 for 140. Scores 28 points. Kyler bounced back, had a good game, got 23. We saw that one. There was one long touchdown pass in there, though. Carson got 100 yards and no touchdowns, only 16 points, but you'll take that, and his workload has been awesome. David Montgomery, I said last week, could be breaking out for Chuck. He gets 23 points, though he only had 40 yards rushing, but got 2 touchdowns. Godwin took a back seat to Evans again this week, only 7 for 61. He did have Drake on his bench score 30, but looking back, I mean, we just start him over Montgomery, Carson, or James White, not knowing how the situation was going to be. I don't really blame him for that. Carson Wentz, he really needed D-Jax back, and that's not happening for him. He needs a playmaker there. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't think there is anybody. I thought it was a good move for Chuck. He picked up Chris Herndon, though. You know, the tight end is a wasteland this year. He may cut Herndon in a week or two, but if he's anything like last year, it could be a great pickup. Moving on to our next matchup, it was a worst versus first. No upset this time. Case takes down Dustin 155 to 125. As I just said, Deshaun Jackson gets hurt again for Dustin. Thielen comes back and immediately gets hurt again. He started Kamara even though he was on bye, which I thought was a bold strategy, swing strategy. Crowder did bounce back though, got him 22 points. And his 2 quarterbacks got him 8 touchdowns combined for almost 70 points. So even though he's playing for the Patriot Bowl, obviously, to not lose it. And I don't know, I think he's got a pretty decent shot. And he's picked up Josh Gordon, Kareem Hunt. He got Thielen and Kamara coming back eventually. He picked up Darrell Henderson, who could be getting more work. I don't know. I am kind of rooting for the Kish-Handa duet come Patriot Bowl time. For Case, another big game from McCaffrey, gets him 40 points. Manny Sanders, in his first start for the 49ers, gets 26. Like I said about Tevin Coleman, it looked like Arizona was saying, all right, we're not going to let you guys run on us. Jimmy G's got to beat us. I can't imagine Manny Sanders is going to have many games like this again. I mean, they weren't throwing the ball at all before this week. The most interesting thing about that, I thought, though, was that Emmanuel Sanders had only been with the team for a week, and he already had, like, special handshakes with players. Like, I noticed on the sidelines, like, I've never had a special handshake with anybody before, let alone somebody I just met. I couldn't imagine, like, going over Malinsky's house for a cookout. Not that he ever invites me over for anything. But, you know, I'm playing cornhole with someone from the Strongsville Dads Club, and they have a good turn, and we break out our secret slapping hands shake. I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins gets him 19 points. Not a great game. Only 8 for 48, but got a late touchdown. A little step backwards for the Patriots defense. Looked only 4 points from them. He loses Mark Walton to suspension. Aaron Rodgers, we talked about podcast jinx for him. And Keenan Allen, another bad game. But even with all that bad stuff going for Case, he still has another good week and keeps winning, and he's still in first place. Malinsky takes on Brandon a few weeks after their trade. It was interesting because he had Zeke and Barkley going against each other on Sunday night. And it was very obvious that Zeke was the way better player. He was dominating the game. Barkley was doing a whole lot of nothing until he got the one long catch. But they were basically worth the same amount of points because Barkley got 6 catches and Zeke got no catches and neither of them scored. Not that I say that's necessarily a bad thing because it is just a game. It's not, real football. You don't play Monopoly and then get pissed off. Like, this is not how you build a real estate empire. This is bullshit. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting watching the game and seeing if they had the same amount of points. Zach Ertz finally shows up for Malinsky, gets him 9 for 100, 27 points. Ryan Tannehill fucking sucks, but he gets him 27 again. And I guess keep riding that hot hand, but it's not going to last. Josh Jacobs, he has seemed to be breaking out lately. He got 120 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Juju still sucks. Juju still sucks. I mean, he's got to break one of those short passes for a touchdown if he's going to have good weeks. Malinsky, I thought, made a great trade, though, trading Rudolph for Jordan Howard. He seems to be getting the ball a ton for the Eagles now. For Brandon, Jameis, only 1 fumble and no interceptions, gets him 23 points. I guess you would definitely call that a win for Winston. Marvin Jones, he's been boom or bust, but a lot of boom lately, gets him 28. Derek Carr having a nice year, gets him 19 points. Really wish he had Antonio Brown there. Allen Robinson gets only one catch for 6 yards, though. The Bears suck. What the hell happened there? I didn't buy the Bears last year when they were like the team that everyone was, gushing over in the preseason, and I was like, I don't buy it. And then they were pretty good. I was wrong. Now they are who we thought they were. Terrell Williams gets his first game back, he came back last week. Gets his first game without a touchdown, though. Only gets him 7 points. Brandon's still holding on to the wild card. Malinsky, though, has moved within. What do I got it at here? Brandon 314, Malinsky 1270. So about 40 points out of the wild card. Speaking of the wild card, Rico bounces back, gets a big win over Swain, 150 to 116. Rico into 7th place. Swain falls to 9th. But Rico is basically tied with Malinsky, about 44 points behind Brandon for the wild card. A lot of people still in it with a couple weeks to go. For Rico, Kenny Galladay has a big game. Only 4 catches, but it's 132 and a touchdown. Jimmy G, we talked about a little bit, gets him 30 points, 300 plus, and 4 touchdowns. Landry gets 17, even though he didn't really shine during that game. Cortland Sutton, who we talked about last week, I wasn't buying with the new quarterback, and he really just had the one big play and a touchdown, but still gets a pretty decent game. Le'Veon Bell gets 20, mostly through the air, 8 catches for 55 yards. I know he was going for MRI, and I never heard any results, so it can't be that bad. Mark Andrews, though, for Rico, has really fallen off. I think it's mostly because Lamar Jackson is just not... He's Lamar Jackson from last year, not Lamar from this year, where he's back to running. We'll talk about that in Mike's matchup, I guess, though. For Swain, Minshew Mania is officially over. Turns the ball over 4 times. Winston style, 2 picks, 2 fumbles. Tony Michel wasn't really involved, even though he was on the field a ton. The Patriots still weren't giving him the ball, though. Darren Waller gets only 2 for 50. That's a couple of bad games in a row for him, and I think maybe even 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5, something like that. McCole Hardman gets him negative 0.3 of a point. Who actually I was going to pick up Hardman last week, but I didn't know I needed to start a guy last week, and I didn't know if Mahomes would be back. He wasn't, but Amari Cooper gets a late touchdown for Swain, scores him 18 points. Mark Ingram had a nice game, but no touchdowns, only gets him 17 points. Last matchup, Lemmer takes on Minotti. Lemmer, everyone's favorite last week to win the championship. He has a decent week, but falls 221 to 159. Minotti finishes about 4.5 points away from breaking the all-time highest scoring week. He gets 45 out of Lockett and 41 out of Evans. Evans gets 12 for 180 yards. I think he must have had a touchdown in there too. Lockett this week had 18 targets, which is unusual because he only had 26 targets over the last 5 games. Seattle was playing from behind, though. Well, it'll be interesting to see if Josh Gordon hurts him. Obviously, if he's getting 18 targets, he could have 2 Josh Gordons, and that's not going to hurt him. But if he goes back to like the 5 targets a game, maybe losing a target or 2 could be a big deal, even though he has been like historically efficient, in his career. Minotti also gets 23 out of Singletary. Was that a breakout game for him? It was an easy matchup, but Frank Gore looked washed, so I would assume Singletary's going to get the ball going forward. A couple weeks ago, I liked Minotti. I said Minotti had the best chance to beat Chuck and win it. After last week, I starting to feel that way again. He's probably going to get Mahomes back this week. For Lemmer, Mason Rudolph is total garbage. I think Matt Ryan will be back for him this week, though. Eric Ebron sucks, only 3 points. Tight ends are terrible. Aaron Jones, what a letdown there, only 3 points, almost 4. Much better than I said. Again, podcast jinx coming in there. Odell gets 5 for 87, which is one of the better, games against the Broncos, I guess. And maybe even one of Beckham's best games, but the Browns really got to get that guy the ball. Mohamed Sanu saw 14 targets, got 10 for 81 and a touchdown for the Patriots. It'll be interesting to see if that, kind of volume goes forward. Because if so, that's huge for him. But I don't know. It seemed like James White wasn't on the field a ton in that game. I think it seemed like they only used him when they needed him. So there may have been an injury there. The Patriots will never tell you, though. Carlos Hyde gets 20 points, fumbles on the 2-yard line going into the end zone on a long breakaway. A lot of you probably saw that. Well, I don't know. They probably weren't showing the game at the pumpkin patch. DK Metcalf gets 29, 6 for 123 and a touchdown. Will, Well, Josh Gordon hurt him too. Kirk Cousins, 3 touchdowns, even though he only had 220 passing yards. And a nice pickup of the Pittsburgh defense versus Indianapolis. Gets him 20 points. So that's it for the matchups. Let's get into this interview. As they're going to talk about, it's a little gross. You got to look at it. It's not that gross, but it's a little weird. You have to be watching it to be able to play along at home, though. So if you're in your car or something, that's probably not going to work. But here it goes. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm here with Dustin and Chuck. How you guys doing?
I'm glad to be here, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Hey, good to be back. Hopefully I can get a win here today. Get back on a streak of winning these games.
Yeah, so it's interesting to get you guys on. Almost most of the weeks, like not every week, but we've had actually like a matchup coming up or a matchup that just happened happens to be the two guests. It's like Case and Swain, you and Lemmer, now you two. I think it was another one too.
Me and Kish Handa, I think, were the same week.
Yeah, you were. I didn't try to do it that way. It just worked out. That's weird how that happened. Also, you guys have another...
All that matchup prep, though, and this morning you didn't even know that me and Chuck were playing each other.
I know. Well, I haven't been doing, like, look ahead in a few weeks. I've only been doing last week's. So I was actually thinking about going to 2 pods a week if Minotti was going to do his segment. I was like, how am I going to fit all this on one show? I'm like, is anybody going to listen to 2 a week? Not Malinsky.
I, for one, definitely would listen to 2 a week.
We'll see how it goes.
2 a week as well, but I do think that we're in the minority.
Yeah, you're a minority. So you guys have another special little connection here, is that you're both rooting for Chuck to be the champion this year. Chuck, how does that make you feel, Chuck? Does that put a little added pressure on you, or?
Well, I think really we're going to find out just where Dustin's allegiances truly lie, right? We're going to find out, how deep those Thunder Gun Express colors run. My guess is not as deep as he tells everybody else. We're going to find out, though.
I'm rooting for myself this week. That will make Rick happy to hear, I'm sure. But after that, once we get into these playoffs and you made it, it's all team to go Chuck, man.
Yeah, and I mean, Chuck, after this week, you're looking like you have a pretty firm grasp on that number 5 spot. You're essentially 2 games ahead of me at this point with like a 70-point total lead. We do have a head-to-head matchup coming up. But I liked my chances going into 2 weeks ago when I was playing Minotti without Mahomes and without Lamar Jackson, and I get crushed. Then Rob has his whole team on bye, and I get crushed again. Now I'm feeling like my season is over, and you're definitely going to be in the playoffs. Are you feeling the same way?
That one was quite a stunner. Rob's team just somehow, grinding one out. I was really surprised by that.
By 1:30 on Sunday afternoon, I already knew I lost. Like my watch I get like alerts on my watch when my guys get like I use the Score app, and my watch was just silent all day long. I said this on the show earlier. I went and got ice cream because I don't have any drugs, and I was so mad. I was like, I gotta do something to get out of this bad mood. So I mean, Chuck, does like the pressure of going for the repeats like made the season tougher for you, or you're just playing it like normal and we'll see what happens?
Well, I would say first and foremost, greatness doesn't really feel pressure. Secondly, the Thunder Gun Express organization really, there's a lot of continuity from top to bottom, right? From ownership to the GM to the head coach. Ownership, clear vision, what we want to accomplish. Chuck Ryan does a great job of doing that.
Third person.
General manager Chuck Ryan, pretty good Italian evaluator, right? I've been impressed with what he's done throughout the years. And, the head coach Chuck Ryan, he's got the final say on the game day roster. And I think he's done a pretty good job at this point. So, again, it's just that continuity of having everybody on the same page. It's been great. This has been a challenging season for sure, but I think we're all up to the challenge.
Excellent. So when you win the money, what are you gonna spend it on? Pay off that Surface Pro or?
Yeah, right. That's probably gonna be what it is. That or my lease is up on my car in March. Maybe down payment. We'll see what happens there.
Who do you feel is the favorite? I guess Dustin said last week Lemmer. I don't know if that's changed since Lemmer's lost to Minotti this week. But who do you guys like as the favorite to win right now?
Oh, you asked me? No, sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Both of you.
I'm sticking with Lemmer. He had a down week, but his team's still pretty solid.
It wasn't really a down week. He scored 160 points. Just Minotti had a great week.
Oh, yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, Chuck got to hold his. I think I had 4.5 points. Minotti was within breaking Chuck's record last week.
Yes. Wait, he claimed he did.
No.
Oh, he said this year.
This year.
That's right.
It was close. I felt pretty good to hang on to that record. As far as favorites go, it's crazy. It really does feel wide open. There seems to be like a lot of coin toss games. It's hard for me to think outside of Case at this point, right? He's outscoring everybody by quite a bit. McCaffrey is just an absolute beast. The question is, can he hold up that workload? You've talked about it before on this pod. And that New England defense, just the steal of the draft. It's unbelievable what they've done. So with those two, just giant point totals week to week, right? That's kind of the difference in the season, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't have the extra points that McCaffrey and New England D is getting them every single week, he's probably closer to Kevin and a couple other contenders. But right now, unless those two slow down, I think it's his to lose, honestly.
So it's funny, you're the first person to say Case that we've talked about. I assumed you were going to say someone else. I was going to make a mention of Case is playing the disrespect card in the locker room every week. Telling guys nobody thinks we can do it. But so you do. Somebody believes in Case's squad.
Yeah, I do also just want to quickly add, your attempts at jinxing Thunder Gun Express, admirable, right? I love it. Nobody appreciates a good jinx like I do. And just consistently on a week-to-week basis to keep it up like you have.
The podcast is jinxing people all over the place. It did the Packers in. The Packers scored 6 points after Rico and I talked up how they were to be the best team going forward, and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams could be second half MVPs, and then they scored 2 field goals against the Chargers. I mean, there's a jinx every week. Rob's gotten the brunt of it, but he's doing just fine. So I just pulled up your guys' matchup for this week, and Chuck, did you know Dustin's actually an 11-point favorite right now?
I definitely did know that. I was hoping Ryan Finley was going to change that, but
yeah.
He was available last week after Dalton was he was named the starter, and nobody really bit. So I thought, maybe I can cheap out on this guy just a little bit. Go fly under the radar, pick up his 13, 14 projected points, but, it didn't happen. It was pretty close. I'm not, my bid was right on point. Just needed another $1.
Yeah, I think you guys tied, right? And he just had the tiebreaker. Is that what happened?
Correct.
Yeah.
And honestly, I did have $5 on him when I initially put it in. I don't know if you guys do that a lot, but I'll go in and switch my bid 5 times before I finally spend it and forget it, But I originally had put $5 in, and then I thought, I'm gonna have to go $5, and I dropped it to 3, and then I was like, let me put one more. So that we'll see how bad that hurts. I don't have a whole lot else to plug in on my roster. Who knows? Might have to try to keep perusing that waiver wire. Maybe get a sneaky pickup in there. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I'll say this: my team consistently performs under their projections, so you don't gotta worry too much.
Yeah.
You got some good matchups though. I mean, you got Golden Tate has the Jets, and Crowder has the Giants. I don't know. Cohen has Detroit.
I got Thielen out again.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit earlier on the show. I I didn't believe in Kareem Hunt all off season or any of this season, but Dontrell Hilliard played 28 plays in that game the other day and got all the receiving downs work from Chubb. So, and I don't know, maybe that was just like a Denver thing. They were, playing in the altitude and they took him out. But if Kareem Hunt gets 28 snaps, he's going to produce worthwhile fantasy points.
Well, I'm starting him this week.
I see that. I was just looking through your team now, too. Yeah, it looks like, Chuck, you're probably going to have to pick somebody up unless you roll with Herndon as your super flex, which actually I wanted to say, I thought that was a pretty good pickup. I mean, you may cut him in 2 weeks, but I don't know. Tight end is garbage right now. And if he's anything like last year, he could be decent.
Felt like a high upside move there, and if anybody knows my philosophy on fantasy football, that's pretty much it.
Now, is that the coach's philosophy or the GM or the owner?
Again, right, continuity. Everybody, with a clear vision, clear expectations of what needs to happen. Everybody's on the same page, Dustin.
Excellent. It was funny. That was so Swain played Herndon a couple weeks ago, wouldn't cut him even though he was out, and had been ruled out for a while, and then cuts him later. Right. And then Rico did a similar thing with Kareem Hunt. He paid up for him at the draft, kept him all season, then cuts him 1 week before he's coming back on a Sunday to have to pay $5 extra for the Chiefs defense.
I couldn't believe when I saw Hunt out there. I thought the exact same thing.
It did not make a lot of sense to me. I don't criticize Rico that much because I don't want to get a bear paw to the face when I get home, but that was a interesting move, I thought. So I know. Well, it's where but let's. If you guys want to jump into the game, I know you guys are on a bit of a time crunch today, and the game probably shouldn't take all that long. But I guess I already explained it to you guys a little bit, but I'll explain it for everyone else now too. Basically, you can kind of, you guys they can't see it yet, but it's going to start with a very zoomed up picture of someone's eye. And then each clip lasts about 15 to 20 seconds. It's going to slowly pan out. You'll buzz in when you think you know it. Dustin knows, but I don't know if Chuck remembers. Say Chuck, when you want to buzz in. Dustin say Dustin. Or you guys can have monikers if you want. I don't know. But buzz in, then I will pause the video when you buzz in. Give me your answer, and then we'll start again. It's very self-explanatory from there. You'll get a point for each one if you get it right.
I'll just say this. I know, everybody can't see yet, but one word, gross.
Okay, so let's get into this. Let me minimize. So this first one, the eye is going to be right up there. The other ones are going to start on a black screen. I should have started with a black screen on this one, but I did not. We'll maximize there. Chuck, you know it already?
Bill Belichick.
Let's see.
I didn't even think it was that high until you moved it away. But now I agree with your statement.
So we're going to have to let the videos play out because it goes in order.
Break by my story.
Oh, Bill Belichick's right. I mean, I would have said no and let Dustin guess if it wasn't.
He's got some pretty blue eyes.
Okay. Second one. This one's a little blurry. It's the only blurry one.
Is this supposed to be red?
Yeah. Chuck.
Bobby Knight?
No. So I guess I will stop it before the last movement because I can't let it just play out and then Dustin can guess it when it gets to the guy's wide open face. Okay.
Can I keep going? Do I get another guess?
Dustin.
Oh, yeah.
Hulk
Hogan is correct.
It still doesn't look like him. Okay, there we go. That's early Hulk Hogan.
Is that no holds barred Hulk Hogan?
It's probably around that time, yeah. Oh, you can see me in the screen. I just grabbed my pulse. All right, third one.
Well, Chuck. Bo Jackson.
No.
Damn it. Might want to check this guy for jaundice.
All right, that's as far as we're gonna let you go for Dustin.
Oh, that seems like bullshit. No one told Chuck to buzz in early.
I didn't consider this part of the game when I made it up, but I can't just let it keep going out, or you'll definitely know who it is.
Not 100%. No.
No.
Here, how about this, Dustin? You can guess here, and then I'll start it again, and you guys can go again.
Go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Lawrence Taylor.
No, actually, I did download a picture of Lawrence Taylor, but it was the wrong format, and I couldn't put it into.
That was the one I was looking at.
All right, now you guys are both a bit up again.
Chuck.
Oh, okay. We're gonna cut that part out. We're gonna cut that part out. We can't do that way because I forgot the last transition just goes like right to his face, so that's not gonna work. I'll stop it at the last transition and give the other person a guess. All right, I'm gonna cut all that out of here. Okay. Fourth.
So does that last one doesn't that count?
No one gets a point for that one.
Who was it?
Michael Jordan.
I must have missed it.
See, I should get a point for
I agree.
It was a picture of Michael Jordan's face. Did you not have gotten it? All right.
I didn't see it.
Let's start this one.
I'm not sure if he's ever been on top of any game.
Not his poker game.
Johnson.
I think I heard Chuck.
I did too.
Terry Francona.
Yeah, it took a long time for that one to come up. Terry Francona. Chuck took a 2-1 lead. I'm actually going to have a scoreboard up in this game, too.
Oh, nice.
So the editing's going to take me a little while today. Okay? We are on to clip number 5. Chuck leads 2-1.
Remote.
His eyes are gross. Chuck.
I know. I'm trying to.
Chris Carter.
Yeah,
Chris
that's what I'm thinking.
Carter is correct.
I thought it was Tupac at first, but that wouldn't have made any sense.
No.
Actually, I think at first I thought it was Jerry Rice, which was just another great receiver. Kind of weird.
Well, all great receivers have the same eyes. It's a common trait. Okay, clip number 6. We have 11 total clips. Chuck.
Oh, it's not who I thought it was. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Texas Rattlesnake himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Dustin, you're...
Well, I know we were allowed to ring in and then just keep watching the film. And
that's true. That was kind of bullshit. I actually thought it was Steve Kerr.
Yes, those two are actually often mistaken for one another.
Every time Steve Kerr bites into a beer can and chugs it.
I'm really bad at guessing too early.
Well,
your aggressive play style. It's playing out well for you.
You're winning 4-1. Dustin's really got to get out of this game if he's going to come back here.
I'm just that guy on Jeopardy that just keeps clicking, no matter what.
I think it's Tupac again.
I got it.
You do?
I don't want to say it, yeah. Chuck. Dwayne Wade.
Let's see. Well, obviously, if I'm letting it play, it is Dwayne Wade.
D-Wade.
Wow. I think you gave Chuck the pictures to study before.
Well, Dustin, there is 4 left. You need to get all 4 of them correct to tie the game. I don't have a tiebreaker, so.
And Chuck's sitting at a better angle.
No, I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'm not going to show this exact clip on the screen. This is just for you guys' benefit, so I can actually move this a little bit. I think I didn't have the computer really centered. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, 4.
Now I'm ready.
4 clips to go. He is happy. He's almost always happy.
Dustin.
Oh, you know it?
Shaq.
Let's see. It is.
I said it before you got to that point of the picture.
Maybe there's a little delay in the when you say it to when I get it over here. Google. All right.
There must be, because that Michael Jordan one still just didn't make sense to me either.
All right. Dustin needed it. His back's still against the wall. Needs them all.
Dustin. Eddie George.
Eddie George.
Nice. Don't call it a comeback.
Dustin 2-0 in elimination games so far today. Okay, we're on to clip number 10. Dustin still needs this one and the next one. I'm actually not even sure who this is. Now I know.
Dustin.
Dustin.
Drew Brees.
No.
I think it's a quarterback, though.
Why, Chuck? Because it's a white guy?
Chuck.
I still think
Chuck.
it's Drew Brees.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Boom.
He was
Nail in the coffin.
actually in Fargo yesterday speaking at a conference. Or I think it was actually Moorhead, but same thing. All right, last one. You know, Chuck already won. Playing for pride. This is a current top of their game player. If that helps you guys.
Dustin.
Dustin.
Simone Biles.
That is a white person.
Is it?
Yes.
She doesn't look white to me. You see white?
The eyes say a little more
Chinese.
Asian to me, yeah.
But now it's white.
Chuck.
Chuck.
What is her name? Tim. Manhands. Hold on. Why is it not? Stacia.
That is Stacia Pugh, yes. Cornhole champion.
Let's hope she's not a regular listener here.
I doubt it.
Airmail contest.
I tried finding a picture of Matt Guy, but believe it or not, there were no high-res images of him out there on the internet.
You should have asked Mike Handa to send you a picture of his trading card.
Oh, that's true. I could have done that because he could have probably got me a good picture. This is off
probably
of Facebook.
autographed too, like with a real special message for Mike on there.
I was really hoping that this was going to be like the tie-breaking answer.
I would have never gotten that.
You know Stacia.
I played the 1 year. That was like 7 years ago. I was too busy winning championships to focus on these other people.
It still doesn't look a lot like her to me. Even I knew it was her, but
maybe it's because she doesn't have a wine outline over her face.
All right. Well, Dustin, now if you lose next week, it will be officially a losing streak. I just got a text from somebody, but I can't see it because the tripod's blocking it. So before we wrap up, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
Not really. I didn't have anything else. But honestly, I love what you're doing. Keep it up. Really appreciate you having me on. It's a lot of fun, man.
And you make next week's game a little more like Call of Duty or Fortnite related?
No, because then maybe if Handa wants to come back on next week.
Oh, I can't play Handa in that.
I also really enjoyed having lunch with Dustin. that was great. Got me out of work for a little bit.
You got to see the office.
Yeah, right. And I see at the front of the building, there's a mobility, agility, and quickness training facility. So we're gonna go work that off. I think right after this.
Oh yeah,
Got a good specimen. Yeah.
I assumed as much.
We are mobile, we are agile, and we are quick, so it makes sense we'd be going up there.
Yes.
Three adjectives that are synonymous with us.
All right, well, guys, thanks for coming on the show today. That was fun. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope nobody's eating when they look at those pictures of people's gross eyes.
Well, that was a fun show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't have a guest yet for next week, so if somebody's interested, let me know, or I'll be reaching out to you if I don't hear from somebody soon. Good luck this weekend. Go Browns.